If a woman greets you in a way that feels warmer than necessary, slower than normal, softer than expected, it's not random. And if you're an older man, that greeting might be saying more about her attraction than her words ever will. I'm going to tell you something most men misunderstand for decades. Attraction in women, especially toward older men, is rarely loud. It's rarely obvious. It's almost never reckless. It's coded. It's layered. It's disguised inside politeness, inside tone, inside subtle shifts most men dismiss. When a woman finds an older man genuinely attractive, her greeting changes before anything else does. Not because she's trying to seduce you, but because her nervous system reacts first. Watch her pace. When she approaches a man she sees as neutral, her greeting is efficient. Quick smile, standard eye contact, socially correct distance. She gets it done. But when she greets a man she finds deeply attractive, especially one older than her, there's a micro pause, a fraction of hesitation before she speaks. Her body slows down instead of speeding up. Her voice lowers slightly, not dramatically, just enough to feel softer, more intentional. That's not performance. That's regulation. Women instinctively regulate around men they perceive as high value, and age, when paired with composure, signals stability, experience, emotional containment. Those traits activate something powerful in the female psyche, safety mixed with intrigue. Now here's what most men get wrong. They assume attraction equals giggling, obvious flirting, dramatic enthusiasm. That's teenage attraction. Adult attraction looks controlled. If she greets you and holds eye contact half a second longer than socially required, she is testing your steadiness. If she says your name slowly instead of casually, she is anchoring connection. If her smile lingers but her body stays composed, she is evaluating your response. Women are highly attuned to emotional power dynamics, especially with older men. If she finds you attractive, her greeting will often carry respect layered with warmth. That combination is not accidental. It means she perceives status in you. And status doesn't just mean money, it means grounded energy, measured movements, lack of urgency. Here's something you need to understand deeply. Younger men often chase approval. Older men who are attractive don't. And when a woman senses that you are not seeking validation from her reaction, her greeting becomes more deliberate. She invests more subtle energy into the first moment of contact. Because first moments matter more than long conversations. Attraction is established in the greeting, not the date. If she slightly tilts her head while greeting you, that's vulnerability. If her shoulders relax instead of tense, that's comfort. If she initiates the greeting first when she didn't have to, that's interest. And if her tone carries softness but her posture stays upright, that's attraction mixed with admiration. Women rarely admire men their own age the same way they admire composed older men. There is something about lived experience, about calm eyes, about slower speech patterns that communicates depth. But here's the uncomfortable truth. If you respond with over-eagerness, you break the polarity instantly. When she greets you warmly, and you over-smile, over-talk, or rush to fill silence, her nervous system recalibrates. You move from mysterious and grounded to seeking approval. Attraction toward older men thrives on emotional containment. When she greets you with softness, respond with relaxed confidence. When she holds eye contact, hold it back, but don't intensify it. When she slows down, do not speed up. Matching energy without escalating it is power. Most men never learn this. They think attraction is built through clever words. It isn't. It's built through how you manage the first 5 seconds of energy exchange. If her greeting feels slightly warmer than everyone else's, it's because she feels something slightly stronger than she planned to. And that's where your real test begins. There is another shift that happens when a woman greets an older man she finds genuinely attractive, and most men completely miss it. Her voice changes, but not in the way you think. It doesn't become louder, it doesn't become exaggerated, it becomes more controlled, more intentional. She chooses her words more carefully. She avoids slang she might use with men her own age. She subtly elevates her language. Why? Because attraction toward an older man often carries admiration, and admiration activates a desire to present herself well. If she sees you as just another man, her greeting will be casual, almost automatic. But if she sees you as attractive and high value, she becomes slightly self-aware, not insecure, aware. She might smooth her hair quickly before saying hello. She might straighten her posture. She might adjust her tone to sound calmer, more refined. These are unconscious behaviors driven by impression management. And here's what's fascinating. When a woman is attracted to an older man, she often tests him immediately, but subtly. She might greet you with a playful comment layered inside politeness. Something like, "You always seem so calm," or "You're hard to read." That's not random conversation. That's curiosity wrapped in flirtation. She's probing for emotional depth. Women are drawn to older men not just for stability, but for psychological complexity. If your greeting response is predictable, overly simple, or eager, the attraction plateaus. But if your response is measured, slightly amused, and emotionally steady, her interest increases. Another powerful sign hides in proximity. If she greets you and stands a little closer than necessary, just slightly inside normal social distance, that's intentional. Attraction compresses space. Disinterest expands it. Pay attention to whether she angles her body toward you or keeps it squared away. When a woman finds you attractive, her torso often faces you directly. That signals openness, engagement, subconscious investment. And then there's the smile. A polite smile is quick and symmetrical. An attraction smile lingers and softens the eyes. You'll see a brief moment where her gaze drops and returns. That drop is vulnerability. That return is courage. She is checking whether you notice without making her feel exposed. Now here's something men in their 20s often fail to understand, but you must grasp if you are an older man. Women are biologically wired to evaluate emotional safety before romantic possibility. When she greets you warmly and you respond with grounded calm, you activate both safety and intrigue. Safety makes her comfortable. Intrigue makes her curious. The combination is magnetic. But if you react with intensity too quickly, complimenting her immediately, leaning in too fast, or trying to escalate conversation, she subconsciously categorizes you as seeking validation. Attraction toward older men depends on perceived self-sufficiency. If she feels that you are emotionally independent, her greeting will evolve over time. It will become more layered. She might start adding inside references, slight teasing, questions that extend the interaction beyond necessity. Because once a woman feels drawn to an older man, she wants to see if he can handle subtle tension. And tension is built through restraint. Here's the part that most men never hear. When a woman greets you with softness, composure, and intentional presence, she is giving you a window, a small opening to demonstrate leadership without dominance. Leadership in this context means emotional steadiness. It means not chasing the energy she offers, but not rejecting it either. It means responding with warmth that is slightly less intense than hers. That difference creates pursuit. If her greeting feels like it carries weight, like it lingers in the air a second longer than necessary, that's because she's evaluating whether you embody the maturity she's projecting onto you. Older men who understand this dynamic don't try to impress. They allow space, and space is where attraction grows. When she greets you like this, she's not just saying hello. She's asking, without words, "Are you the man I think you are?" Your response determines everything that follows. There is a moment after the greeting that reveals everything. It's the silence that follows. When a woman greets a man she feels neutral about, the silence is empty, functional. She fills it quickly or exits it comfortably. But when she greets an older man she finds genuinely attractive, that silence carries charge. She doesn't rush to break it. She lets it breathe. That is not awkwardness. That is anticipation. If she holds the moment after saying hello, if her eyes stay connected just slightly longer than social rules require, she is measuring your emotional gravity. She wants to see if you get uncomfortable. She wants to see if you fidget, over-explain, or try to perform. Attraction toward older men often centers around one psychological trait: steadiness under pressure. The greeting is pressure. And here is what most men never realize. When a woman feels drawn to a mature man, she becomes more observant. Her brain shifts into evaluation mode. She studies micro-expressions. She watches how slowly you blink, how evenly you breathe, whether your voice stays grounded or rises in pitch. Because what she is really asking is this: does he feel stable? Women are not attracted to age alone. They are attracted to what age should represent. Emotional regulation, experience, control over impulses, quiet confidence. If your greeting response carries impatience or nervous laughter, she recalibrates her perception immediately. But if you greet her with calm warmth, if your voice stays low and measured, if you allow space instead of filling it, her attraction deepens. Now pay attention to another subtle indicator. When she greets you and then lightly touches her neck, adjusts her bracelet, or brushes her arm, those are self-soothing gestures. Attraction activates mild nervous energy, and when that energy appears around you but not around others, that is data. She is not just being friendly, she is managing internal excitement. Another powerful sign appears in how she exits the greeting. If she lingers before walking away, if she looks back once more, if she adds an extra sentence that wasn't necessary, she is extending the interaction without admitting it. Women rarely extend interactions with men they do not find compelling. Especially with older men, there is often a psychological tension between desire and caution. She may admire you, she may feel intrigued by your presence, but she will move carefully. That careful movement is not disinterest, it is selective attraction, and here is the truth most men avoid. Attraction toward older men thrives when the man does not try to compete with youth. If you attempt to act younger than you are, speak in exaggerated slang, or seek to prove you are still fun, you dissolve the very quality that drew her in. What attracts her is your grounded difference, your slower movements, your composed eye contact, your lack of urgency. When she greets you with softness and respect, she is responding to perceived authority, not dominance, but presence, authority and energy. And if you stay anchored in that energy, something interesting happens. Her greetings begin to shift over time. They become warmer, slightly more personal. She might begin using your name more frequently. She might lower her voice further when speaking to you. She might begin initiating small conversations without clear reasons. Attraction that starts in subtle greetings grows through consistent emotional safety. But safety does not mean predictability. It means controlled mystery. When she greets you like this, she is balancing admiration with curiosity, and curiosity intensifies when the man remains centered, not reactive. Most men sabotage this stage because they misinterpret warmth as invitation to escalate immediately, but attraction toward an older man deepens when he moves slower than she expects, when he listens more than he speaks, when he smiles without chasing, when he holds eye contact without challenging. That restraint creates emotional tension, and tension, when paired with safety, becomes desire. If her greeting feels layered, if it carries softness, steadiness, and subtle intensity, understand that she is not just being polite. She is exploring the possibility of you, and the way you handle those first seconds tells her whether that possibility expands or disappears. Now I'm going to tell you the part that most men never hear, and it's the part that determines whether her attraction grows or fades quietly. When a woman greets you with that softness, that controlled warmth, that subtle respect, she is not just reacting to how you look, she is reacting to how you make her feel about herself. If she thinks you're a very attractive older man, your presence triggers something psychological inside her. It activates contrast. You represent experience, depth, stability, and when she stands in front of that, she becomes more aware of her own femininity. That's why her greeting carries a different tone. She is not just saying hello to you, she is stepping into a slightly different version of herself around you, more composed, more elegant, more intentional, and here is where your power either strengthens or collapses. If you respond by trying to prove yourself, talking about your achievements, your past, your status, you remove the mystery, you shift from grounded to performative, and performance breaks attraction faster than rejection. But when you respond with calm assurance, when you let her feel the contrast without highlighting it, she begins to associate you with emotional steadiness. Women bond through emotional associations. If her nervous system feels slightly elevated but safe around you, she will seek that feeling again. That's why her greetings may gradually become more personal. She may start asking where you've been if she hasn't seen you. She may lightly tease you about being hard to figure out. She may hold your hand a fraction longer during a handshake. These are not accidents. They are invitations to deeper polarity. And understand this clearly. Polarity is not about dominance. It's about difference. Masculine steadiness paired with feminine responsiveness. When she greets you with warmth and subtle admiration, She is testing whether you will remain in your masculine frame or collapse into approval seeking. Approval seeking sounds like this: over-complimenting her immediately, seeking reassurance in her reactions, changing your tone to match her excitement. Masculine steadiness sounds like this: relaxed voice, measured pace, slight smile, direct but gentle eye contact. It's controlled strength, and women are extremely sensitive to that difference. If she thinks you're attractive, she will watch your reactions more than she listens to your words. She will observe whether you react to her beauty the same way every other man does. If you don't, if you acknowledge her presence without being overwhelmed by it, you become rare, and rarity increases value. Over time, her greetings may become slightly more invested. She may initiate touch under socially acceptable reasons. She may position herself closer in group settings. She may defend you subtly in conversations. These are signals of growing attachment, but none of it happens if you chase the initial warmth. Attraction toward older men thrives on emotional patience. It grows when you allow her curiosity to build. It deepens when you remain centered. It solidifies when she feels both safe and slightly challenged by your composure. Now I want you to think carefully. Have you ever noticed a woman greeting you differently? Softer voice, slower speech, deeper eye contact, but you dismissed it as politeness. Or maybe you reacted too quickly and watched the energy shift. Here's the personal equation I want you to answer honestly. When a woman greets you warmly, do you multiply her energy with calm confidence or divide it with nervous overreaction? Write your answer in the comments. And if this opened your eyes to signals you've been missing for years, like this video, subscribe and share it with a man who needs to understand that attraction doesn't shout. Sometimes, it whispers in the way she says hello.